guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, you are welcome, and if you have been here before, you are also welcome. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. As you subscribe, hit the notification bell so that anytime I post a new video, you will be notified. And please don't forget to hit the like button. It goes a long way to help me. Please comment whenever I post a new video so that I will know what you guys need from me, what you want me to do. And if I'm making any mistake, I stand to be corrected, please. So that is why you guys should be commenting. Let me know what you think about my videos. And I'm still begging you guys, please share my videos. You guys have been amazing though by sharing my videos. Augusta Gold, Coco Mama, Ebony Vermatin, Story of Motherhood, Grandma Gift. In short, two blessing family. There are too many for me to make sure. I can't remember every. If I did not make sure your name, please, which means I'm just blank and I cannot remember now. Thank you guys for sharing my videos. African UTV, I greet you all. You all have been amazing and you have been sharing my videos. God bless you. I take it to heart. I'm very, very happy for all what you guys have been doing for me. Thank you. I so much appreciate. All what you guys have been doing for me, keep me smiling. It keep my day going. It makes me to put some dark side apart. It makes me to feel happy. God bless you. I thank you all. So today, I will be telling you people's story of how I became a housewife at the age of 6. If you guys have not seen my videos before, go back and check. You will see my videos of how I turned cripple. I do one episode 1, 2, 3. Check it out. You will know why I'm like this. Why I cannot walk. You will know. And you guys will know the reason why this my name, Able Naija Mama. Because a lot of people see me as a disabled person. But me, I did not see myself as a disabled person. That is why I put that name, Able Naija Mama. Yes, I'm able. What an able person can do, me, Able Naija Mama, can do it also. So thank you guys and keep listening to my story. So, you know, as a child, there are some things that will happen in your life that will stick to your memory. That memory will be there. You will not forget it. So this one I'm going to share with you is right from the age of 6. Yes, I still remember it vividly, very clear. Because it's something I will never forget. So let me give you guys a story. This still all happened, I think, it was, late 80s. Yes, late 80s. My great-grandmother died. Not my grandmother, my great-grandmother. The woman that gave birth to my grandmother. That my grandmother gave birth to my dad. Yes, it was when she died. So we all, as a family, my dad, my mom, and my siblings, we all traveled to the village. And my other relatives, cousins, aunties, uncles, all of us, we all went to the village for the burial ceremony. So after the burial ceremony, everybody is now ready to go back to their destination. My father is the senior son in the house. He has 2 elder sisters. My father is the 3rd child and is the senior son. So that my grandmother and my great-grandmother were staying together, and 2 of my uncles, they were the ones staying together before my great-grandmother now died. So when she died, as they were about going home, somebody now make a suggestion among our family people that now we all want to go back to our destination and leave our granny alone. And that we know that it was our great-grandmother that used to keep her busy. Both of them used to talk and do things together. Now that the great-grandmother have died, who will now be talking with our grandmother? Who will she now be conversing with? That was what they said. So they now also came out with a suggestion that among them, the children of my grandmother, one person should drop his or her child in the village, so that my grandmother can have a companion. Everybody was saying, no, I cannot drop my own. The other sister was saying, no, my husband will not agree. The other ones were saying, no, no, I will not agree. I cannot drop my child in the village. So they all refused. Then one of them now said that my dad is the senior son, is the owner of the house, so he should drop one of his child at home. My mother said no, that she did not have any child she is going to drop at home, that her children are too small. My senior sister, my senior brother, I'm the third child. And she now said that my senior sister is the one that have been helping her, that she cannot drop my elder sister. Or is it boy that is going to drop? Boy cannot do anything. Or is it me that is just 6 years old that she is going to drop? My mother say no. Then I told my mother, you do not have any right to talk. You are a wife to this family. You do not have any right to say anything here. That if my daddy say that they want to drop anything, you don't have a say. It's your husband. You are a wife. You don't have a say in this house. So my mother was surprised. Why would people be saying that? I said, yes, you don't have a say. After much talking, my dad did not have any other option than to say, okay, I should stay with my grandmother. My mother was crying, saying, no, she cannot, she will not allow that. How will she allow a 6 years old child to stay in the village? No, she will not agree. My mother could not beat their talk. So after everything, to cut the long story short, they dropped me in the village to stay with my grandmother. My dad left and my other siblings without taking me back home with them. So I was with them. So I stayed at home. My grandmother would come to me. My grandmother would say, I was not crying, I was happy because of what they were telling me then, being a child. They were telling me, don't worry, grandmama will cook, because I used to like yam a lot, yam and oil. So they say, don't worry, you say you like yam. Grandmother will be cooking yam for you, will be putting oil, you will eat sherry, which a lot of people call agbalumo. They will be giving you sherry. We see a lot of fruit to eat in the village. Don't worry, grandmother will be giving you this, will give you that. So all those words they were saying, being a child now, I fell for it. So I was happy. I did not cry any day. So I stayed back. I was with my grandmother. So me and my grandmother would go to the farm. Our farm is very far. I don't know how to describe the distance. If not, I would have tell you the distance, how it is. We'll go to the farm together, root cassava, go for akpu. I don't know whether you guys know what they call akpu. We'll do akpu. We'll go to the river to fetch water. The river is very, very far, a very long distance. You trek almost 2 hours before you get to that river. I will go with leg, not even entry. There's no car there. It's a typical village. If you have gone to, because I'm from Edo State. I'm from Edo State, Ishan, to be precise. That's our place. Even before a car will go to the place, it has stories of heavy transport. No light. It's a typical village. You see a lot of hut there. So it's a very typical place. So we'll go to farm together, go to the river to fetch water, because we don't have anything like borehole or well around us. Before you can get water to cook, you have to go to the river to fetch water. Then I was carrying only 2 liters. Is it? So yes, 2 liters of water. That is all I could carry then. My grandmother will carry 20 liters. We'll go and fetch water. The water they will use to bathe at home, we fetch it from the river. The one we used to cook, we fetch it from the river. Anything we are going to use is any water we are going to use only from the river. So that was how we were managing. These my uncles, they are not married, they don't have wives. So as a child, I was the only person everybody was sending message in the house. Go and do this. Go and do that. I was the only person. I was not feeling it. I was happy living in the village. I don't know the difference between township and the village anymore. So there, even when they carried me there, I could not speak our language. But within a period of, it's not up to 6 months, I started speaking my language. So after I stayed with my grandmother for about I think a year plus, she started fairly sick. Every time she will be sick. Today she's sick, tomorrow she's sick. So because of that, when she wants to, they will now, my people from Benin, they will now come and carry her. And anytime she's going, I would follow her to the to Benin or wherever they are taking her to. I will stay with her because she said she cannot leave me at home, that I'm too small. So that period of time, even if she's 6 months, 3 months, she want to spend in wherever they take her to, I will not go to school for that period. So this thing continue. And when we stay like that, because of school, we'll still come back. So at the time she became, the students started again. So my uncle now said that I'm not going with my grandmother anymore, that I'm going to stay back home. That is because my grandmother will not, her body will not be okay. She will come back because of me, because I want to go to school. So for that reason, I should stay at home. Then my grandmother should go, so that I will continue my school. My grandmother should concentrate on her health. So when they say that word there, it's like they have used cutlass to finish me, because I cannot stay for a day without my grandmother. Even when we want to sleep, in the bed, I cannot sleep separately from my mother. When my grandmother, when she's sleeping, I will use one hand to hold her, use my other leg to cross her. I cannot stay without her. For you to know the extent of how the bond is. And they are not telling me now that I should stay in the village, that my grandmother should travel and leave me. I was crying. I said, no, I cannot stay. Even there was a time, because for you to know the bond between me and my grandmother, in the village, I don't know whether people know about the bed we normally sleep in. It's not this normal bed though. They use mud to mold this bed. They will use mud to mold it as if it's a bed. Then they will not put mat on top of it. So if anything pour inside that bed, whether it's water or anything, you will see the thing flow down. So me then, I used to wee at home. So because of that, and because I always sleep with my grandmother, and I'll be wee, anytime I wee, all the wee will rub her. So when when my uncle called, they will be cursing me, you have wee again. You have wee, look at the wee everywhere on the bed. So from now on, you will not be sleeping with the grandmother again. You'll be sleeping alone in the other, because we have another smaller that mud bed in the other side. It's still in the same hut. So they say I should be sleeping alone. I say So when they want to go and sleep, they will put me in that place, and they will go back to where they are sleeping. If they put me there, I will be crying. And when my grandmother said that they are late, she will just come and lock the door at the back. She will not carry me back to the bed where she is sleeping. So for you to know the bond between us. So I could not sleep without my grandmother. And now they are not telling me that my grandmother should travel and leave me alone in the village. Hey, it was tough. I said, no, I cannot. After everything, I could not. So my grandmother traveled and leave me. When she traveled, that night I cried all through the night. Then I put mats on the floor for me. Then they sleep on their bed. So that was till daybreak. I could not close my eyes because I was missing my grandmother. So after then, she has left now, and you know that my grandmother was the person that was doing all those house things. I used to follow her to do it. So now that my grandmother have gone, she has traveled. Oh, we now doing the job. This is how I now turn housewife. Then I was already getting to, I think, about 8 years. So when my grandmother left finish, and I was not the person going to the farm. I would go to the farm, root cassava by myself at that early age. I will root cassava, peel it, carry it to the engine. I will grind it. After grinding it, I will go and look for firewood, fry it. Then I will not call buyer to come and buy the garri. After buying the garri, I will use that money. Nobody will tell me, I buy maggi or buy fish or no. I will take that money by myself and go to the market. I will in my mind, I will calculate how many fish, how many maggi it is that will carry us for the next 4 market days, because they do that market every 4 days. Without anybody instructing me on what to do, I will buy those things and come home. I want to buy rice, I will buy rice, buy anything. When I come home, at first, because in our place we don't eat eba, the food we normally eat is pounded yam every evening. Every evening you will eat pounded yam. When you are eating eba, they will think maybe you are the poorest of the poor. So we don't eat eba. So those people are familiar with people that come from Eastern. They will know what I'm talking about. So when I see that, my uncle now told me that if it's getting to 5 o'clock, that I should peel yam and put it on fire. Then when they come, they will pound it. So that was what I was doing. After doing it for about 3 days, at times the yam will cool. They will not come early. When they come, they will not light. They will not light the fire again before they will not start pounding it. So I just said to myself, no, I will not be waiting for them. I will be doing the pound with myself. He said, I will not put it, man. I will be putting it little by little and pound it and remove it. That was what I did. I cooked the yam. I will not put a little inside the mortar, pound it to the smooth. I will not remove it and put it. That was how I used to pound all the dishes. So that was how I started making pounded yam for my uncles. Only the water they are going to use to bathe, I'm the only one that will go to the river to fetch. Then I started carrying this 10 liters of water. If I carry it, God, I will go to the river and fetch that water and bring it to. When they come back, they will bath with it. So, and there is this thing we used to do also in the village. We used to go and pick ogbolo in the ogbolo tree. And that ogbolo, if you want to go and pick it, you have to stay overnight in the forest. You will stay overnight till daybreak. So that when the ogbolo will be falling from the tree, the fruit, you have to pick it. We do go with a lot of group. When we go, we carry yam, carry lantern, this village light lantern. We'll carry it, pick things that we're going to use. We'll spend at times 3 days in the bush, in the forest, with my other mates there. That was what we were doing. If I want to go to firewood, I will go and pluck firewood. That was that. If my uncle, the junior among the 2 uncles, they have one of them is hunter. That will go to the bush, he will hunt. When he kill any animal, he will bring it back home. As soon as he bring it back home, they will tell me, carry it to the market to go and sell it. And as they're giving me that meat to go and sell, they will not tell me, look at how much you will sell it to. I will use my brain to know how much I will sell it. I will collect money from inside to buy food things and bring it home. Things that we'll eat. That was how I was doing it. So after some time, my dad now started having a financial issue in Warri. So yeah, and my grandmother, my grandmother is still in Benin. I was all alone with my uncle. So my dad now bring my siblings and my mom home to come and stay in the village for some time so that he will recover, so that he can look for something, because no money now for them to be eating in Warri again. So they now come back to the village where I am. My mom now joined me to be going to farm. We'll do the cassava together, everything. Do you know that my uncle, the senior one among them, did not allow my mother to rest? Every day we'll be cursing my mother, that my mother is lazy, she cannot do this. We'll be cursing my mother, even to the extent that he want to beat my mother. So the people nearby, they will now be saying, this thing you are doing is not good. Why can you be beating your brother's wife? So because of all these things, my mother was suffering. Every day she would be crying. My mother now started saying that if he's going back to Warri, that he's not going to leave me with them again. That he's going to take me back to Warri. They cannot be maltreating her. Then her child will not be staying with them, to be serving them as if it's their wife. Say, no, he will not leave me behind again. So after more suffering, people now started telling my dad in Warri that he should go and bring back his family home, or that the suffering, my mother is suffering in the village is too much, that my uncle is suffering and they should come and carry us home. So my dad now said, okay, he now came to the village. And that very day my dad came, I was not at all. I went to the river to go and fetch water. So it was on the, when I was coming back, people that were going to the river now told me that they saw your daddy, they saw your daddy coming. Maybe you want to come and carry your mother now, your brothers and sisters home. They will leave you. Because of that word I heard, I started running with my gallon of water, run back. And when I really got back home, I saw them putting their things inside the car. My mother was crying already. As soon as my mother saw me, she was happy. She said, thank God, my pikin. I was telling your daddy that he should wait for you. Your daddy said, don't want to wait. That I don't want to carry me back to Warri. That I should stay with my uncle. My mother not tell me, be crying. You say you want to follow also. Don't stay in the village again. So I started crying. Because already my grandmother is not around. So there is nothing that will entice me to stay back again. So that was how they now carried me back to Warri. When I got to Warri, my people, it was not what I expected. You know, back in the village, I was madam of my own. I was the one cooking and dishing my own food. I was the one calling the shots. Anything I want is what I will get. Everything I want to eat, I do things for myself. I serve myself. I cook for myself. I cook and give to my uncles. So back the worry now is nothing like that. They say if they cook, they will share food to me. Any food they give me does not satisfy me. I will be crying. Well, I will give me this small food. I will not eat. So this is not enough for me. I will say I will not eat. So and then I know village girl na math. My math was very, very sharp. I used to curse my elder ones. They will beat me, beat me. So all through this thing I was experiencing now, I begin to when you say something, shrink. You know the thing will get smaller. I shrink. I lean, and not small, because I could not bear the township life. This village life have mastered me already. So I started having double mind. I would be crying. Let them come and take me back to my grandmother. I don't want to stay in town again. No, I want to go and meet my grandmother. And already my grandmother have heard that story that they have taken me away from the village. My grandmother wasn't happy. So my grandmother now sent message to my dad that he should bring me back, that he will soon come back. So after stay, because when we will come back, you know, like I told you, my dad did not have a job. So I was helping my mother to doing more. We go and hawk it. We sell it different things just to survive. So my mother was not telling me that I will not go back to the village again. That now we have already started doing something here, and I'm the one helping her. That she will not allow me to go. I said no, people should leave me. I'm going back to my grandmother. I don't want to stay here again and be hungry. The food people are giving me is not satisfying me. In the village, I used to do things to myself, so people should allow me go. So my dad now carried me back to the village. This is part 1. My story continues because I don't want this video to be too long. Watch out for part 2. So continue from part 1. I believe you have watched that part 1. This is the part 2. I continue with my story. So my grandmother now traveled back from where she was and got back to the village. My dad now took me back to the village. My grandmother saw me. She was very happy. Ah, my child, you have come back. Oh, why would they take you away from me before? So even me, I was very happy to see my mother, my grandmother. She cooked. She cooked a lot of food and gave to me. I was happy as if I'm in heaven. So I was really happy. So that was as I continued the village life. So after some time, my uncle now, the senior one, I got married. As he got married, within 2 years, she have 2 children. So you guys should think about the job, the how will I say it? I don't know how to put it. The work as a little girl that I was doing. I was the one taking care of the children, doing everything. Anytime my uncle wife gave birth, I'm the one doing everything as if I'm a married woman. Doing every other thing. I started behaving as if I'm a matured lady. People will see me on the road, they will say, look at a lucky wife, because my uncle name is Lucky. People will say, look at a lucky wife. Some will say, look at a robot wife. That is the name of my second uncle. Look at robot wife. Small child that behave as if it's an adult. People will be looking at me, they will tell me my stories. When we are in the river, you know that a lot of people in the river, they will say, this little girl is trying to look at the work she's doing, work of an adult, and the parents are living in township. So they will be, so I started getting wiser. People will be saying, how come they will just leave this small child in the village to be doing all this hard work, and the parents are there in town. These people, they try you. So from there, I started thinking that, so which means it's really true. People are living in the town, my parents are in the town, and now in the village. All those things started getting to me. I said, what will I do? I was still enjoying my village life. So I continued like that. They said that my grandmother's sickness now it's now very strong, so she cannot even stay in the village again. Now say she should come back to Benin to come and stay permanent. So that was how my grandmother left me in the village, in the house of my uncle and my uncle's wife. So I was with them, doing those hard jobs, doing things. So till I got to primary 6, I write my common entrance. So people now started sending messages, a lot of messages to my uncle, to my aunt, to my mom and my dad, that they should come and they remove me for the village. That the work I'm doing in the village is not a work of a small child. That the work is too much for me. I will be the one to carry children, and when I come back from school, I will still go, because even with all, oh Jesus, when I do close from school by 2 p.m. When I come back from school, I will still carry my basin and cutlass. I will go to the farm to still go and root cassava, go and look for firewood. There we go for firewood. I'm still doing all other things, even going to the farm. There are times I will not even go to school. I will follow my second uncle to rubber plantation, because he taps a rubber. We go and pack a rubber. A lot of things I was doing in the village. So when people were seeing me, they started complaining that this work is too much for me, so that my parents should come and remove me from the village. So that was how. So one day now, and that's when my dad really came, and the day my dad came to collect me from the village, then I've already write my common entrance. They were planning how they would put me in secondary school in the village there. So before my dad now come, when my dad came, my dad said no, that he want to come and collect me. And when he came, my auntie, my uncle's wife, has given birth to the third child again. She was in the hospital. She have not come back. They have sent me message. They told me the things I would do to come and give her the next morning before my dad now came. So my dad said no, that he want to take me back to Warri to go and start my secondary education. That he doesn't want me to go to secondary education in the village. So people, my uncle was begging her, the wife just give birth, who is not going to help her, who will take care of her, that they should let me stay for this first 1 year, that after the JS1, my brother should come and collect me, my dad should come and collect me, so that the woman will recover first. My dad said no, that he has tried enough, and my grandmother is the reason he dropped me back in the village. Now that my grandmother is no longer in the village, so there is no need for me to stay back in the village again. And my mother said they should bring me back to Warri. So that was how I left from the village to Warri back. So my main essence of saying this thing now, or telling you guys this story now, is how many of you guys we really at that age do such thing to your child? Because I was really surprised when I grew up. It was when I grew up I started thinking about all these things. Really, I know my mom loved me, my dad loved me, but those things, it took me time to remove it from my heart, because I was thinking that, because at times I used to tell my mom that it's because that they did not love me. That's why they took me back. That's why they left me in the village. That am I the only child that why would it be that I'm the one they left in the village? I used to quarrel with my mom then. Anytime we're having issue, I'll be saying, you both never loved me before. If you both love me, you will not want to sacrifice me in the village. That was what I used to tell them. But I know they really love me. My dad loved me. My mom loved me. But I was thinking, how many of you is ready to trade the happiness of your child for somebody to be happy? Because me, I have children. I cannot do it. I cannot trade the happiness of my child to make someone happy. So I do think about it. And again, if you look, mostly in my, I'm not saying, mostly in my, I don't know whether other tribes do it, but mostly in my place, women don't have say. A lot of women there, they don't have say. They don't have voice. Because if really women have voice in my place, I don't think my mother will they will dominate my mother and take me away from her. Because as I am now, no man will do it to me and say that I want to collect my child to give to his grandmother. I will not allow that. So I'm even surprised to see such things. Because a lot of people now, nobody will allow that. Nobody. Because I was really, really surprised. And you know that because of that bond between mother and daughter was not there with me, because That love, I've already given it to my grandmother. There was no bond between me and my mother in law even before she died. She did not stay long before she died. That bond was not there because all the love I've already given it to my grandmother. Even when I was in just 1, just 3, all those years, I will still cry that they should take me back to my grandmother. I don't want to say anytime maybe my senior ones they beat me or anything that happened, I will say no. I want to go and meet my mommy. I want to go and meet my mother because that was the person then I was seeing as my mother. Just because of that change when I was small. Assuming they did not take me to the village to go and stay with my grandmother, maybe the bond between me and my mother would have been stronger. So I'm begging you guys, please, don't trade the happiness of your child for another person to be happy. It's not good. So I thank you guys. If you are watching up to this time and you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and don't forget to hit the notification bell, hit the like button and comment. Please share my videos. I need to reach my 4,000 watch hours. I need to get my 1,000 subscribers. Please, I'm begging you guys, subscribe. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.